Hello, everyone.
All right, we are live. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Mr. Gorell here with the Bounty Hunters. How are you gentlemen doing tonight?
Wonderful.
I said gentlemen's with an S. That was not good English, but
I'm doing great.
I did put on here an possible spec too. So just so everyone's aware of the situation
Not
that
spec.
I presented. Yeah.
No.
This is Spec Week.
I'm expecting to hit that numerous times. To put that out there. Numerous times expecting to hit that.
And everyone at the end will be going like that.
Yeah, everyone make it stop.
So tonight we are going to be discussing Disney Plus, what shows and everything's we're becoming, what we want. Fun Comics. See, you say spec in the title. Boom, Fun Comics is here.
Look out.
And what we hope to see from them.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best not to old man rant on every single thing that we're going to talk about today.
A little optimistic, basically.
I have to assume that it's going to be amazing and then give them the benefit of the doubt. So, are you excited about tonight's show, guys?
I think it's going to be lots of fun. Digging in, basically speculating on every single thing. It's spec talk, basically, all day long.
Spec talk.
I mean, at this stage, that's what you can do, right?
Yeah.
They leak all this stuff and they get it all confused and try and confuse everyone else. But I mean, they even cover up their costumes and stuff. So
Yeah, which is the trash bags.
they try.
Yeah, it's also gonna be fun. 'Cause some of these projects they gave the name, maybe a sentence, if that, of what it's about, and that's it. That's literally all they do on some of them. Other ones are much more generous, so those would be more fun to talk about. But yeah.
And then we'll it's just basically what we think, because I don't know how many shows I watched about all the Marvel TV shows, and the devil appeared in about half of the episodes right before the episode started, and yet I never saw him once. So let's just keep that in mind as we think about what spec we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
All I heard was it didn't happen last episode, but this episode guaranteed he's making an appearance.
The Book of Boba Fett would be the first appearance of Mephisto. You hear it here first.
Mephisto,
Book of Boba Fett is going to be the first appearance. So yeah, I mean it's listen, it's all right here, people. It's all right here. Although I was gonna say, I will say that there's we probably should have got our best hits, because I feel like there's 5 books that we've talked about over the weeks that encompass about 80% of appearances in the canon.
We will get we should compile the best of spec.
We probably do need to do that, best of spec, because like I said, there's that one. It's oh look, it's that same book again.
Yeah, there's one Darth Vader #1 and Darth Vader #2.
All right, so we decided we're just going to knock out the comic books that are coming out, get that out of the way before we dive into the Disney Plus.
Yeah, there's gonna be lots of stuff to talk about for projects.
There's not very many comics, so
yeah.
There's Queen Bee. Look out, Queen Bee.
Oh, Delphia's in the chat too.
I saw her and I just assumed that she's here for some reason. I forgot she's not actually an official member. So sorry, Delphia. I just always assume she's here.
By proxy.
All right. Hit it.
The first off, you have this is Star Wars Adventures #5. The A cover. I really like this cover, actually.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But when you see the black and white, it kind of looks really bad, I feel. But the colors look really good on it.
Mm.
Oh, do you even go to the next one? Is that
next one over.
Pretty good.
Oh, this is interesting, but I kind of don't mind this either a little bit.
Yeah, that's the B cover by Ethan Beavers. Basically, that's the same. That's the interior artist. And the B cover is the second story in it, Tarkin's story.
You look dumb, Chris.
And then this is So
yeah, he does kind of look stiff. He looks a little weird.
Yeah, the face looked odd, missing all the shadow.
You
Yeah,
know
it
how
is.
important the coloring is in some of these.
Yeah, the coloring, just shows how good coloring can be. But that's a 1 in 10, done by Francesco. Yeah, the artist for that is Francesco Francavilla. Yeah, the weird signature.
What? They do 1 in 10s.
Yeah,
What?
1 in 10 is what they do with the adventures, and 125 is the biggest they do.
Because I feel like the 1 in 10s are pretty decent in the past. I don't think they ever did black and white like sketch, so to speak.
The only one they did I remember was that Chewbacca one, which actually looked really good.
Yeah, that was a good
Okay.
one.
I must say that I don't mind this. Okay, didn't say it was the greatest ever, but I don't mind it. This looks like one of those. Somebody said it last week.
Coloring book,
like one of those coloring books you get at like the Dollar General. Like, I'm being honest, that's what that looks like to me. A little bit.
Then we have issue 13 of Darth Vader. This is a part of the War of the Bounty Hunters, of course, as it says on top. And crossing over IG-88. Sound of Metal.
That's kind of cool. I like his stance right there. That's really cool.
I'm excited to read this and see what this is actually going to be happening in there. See if IG even survives this fight.
Chris says the Vader's Castle ones were basically 1 in 10 sketches of the A covers.
Yeah, there's a mini series on it in itself. They're doing.
Okay, so quick question: his feet, do they make him more stable or less stable? Because
they look like dustpans. More stable. Well, I don't know, less stable.
Probably. I mean, you push him to the left, he falls over. You push him forward, he'll stay.
All right, you better hear him talk about this because my slide to the right is getting real itchy right about now. So
yeah, B cover is the pride variant by JJ. It's Grand Admiral Sloan. Funny, she's actually a pretty cool character. This cover looks bad though. Makes her look like an old man.
A little bit, yeah. Looks like they gender swapped some old.
She does have a ponytail.
Lieutenant. Although she does look pretty tough though. Like she looks like she wouldn't take no crap from nobody.
She's what does she fly? What fly? Well,
I don't know. She's just she's a Grand Admiral. I don't know what her specific ship is. Her Star
Wow. Way to be a Star Wars nerd. Don't even know. Okay, this is all falling off the rails.
Hey, look, it's Chewie again. It's Chewie again. No Lando, but Chewie.
Yeah, this is the C cover Lucasfilm 50th anniversary. I think probably the most boring choice for a cover you could pick.
There's not a lot of action. And then this guy photobombed. Like, look how much that's a photobomb. And he's literally looking up at the guy drawing. And he flew by here. Or didn't fly, obviously. He rode past her and like, is he giving the finger? Like, is that the finger he's giving? He's totally photobombing.
I hope so. Hope he's famous.
And joke's on you, Chris. I don't buy comic books. Ha.
Zoom in. Who is that? I don't see that.
Oh, he is giving the finger.
He's covering himself up. He didn't want to be in the shot.
I think he's putting the saddle on the.
They're waiting for Luke, and there he is. He just turned up.
He just got dragged in there.
Right. Did the guy is this a girl or a male artist? Do we know?
The male. Chris Sprouse is the artist.
I'm gonna tell you right now. This, if I was to do that, would you think this is a male or a female standing there like that? Have you ever seen a male stand with like on his fingertips? Like, I don't know about that. That looks very not male-ish to me.
I'm gonna refer back to the Pride variant if you want.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is the this is volume 2 for the current Vader run. It covers issues 6 through 11. So basically leading into the War for the Bounty Hunters. This is the issue before it.
Is that the chosen cover? That's a pretty good choice.
Yeah. So the funny thing is the solicited covers for all the trade paperbacks are they show them, and noticeably it's like a 50-50 chance that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And when you go to the store, it's a different cover. But that's a good choice. I hope they keep that one. I think that was like issue 10 or so.
Like Dr. Afra didn't like it that they showed for her.
Yeah, they did twice. It was 2 different solicitation covers they did, and it ended up being a different one entirely. And
was it the one where she's in uniform or not?
In uniform is the one I wanted, and there was one with the lightsaber, and it turned out to be neither of them. It turned out to be just something different, and it was worse. It was like, okay, sure, but why?
See, for the Darth Vader, this particular part of the run, I would probably have gone with the red one was it number 10? You know, where he's kind of like wading through that red.
That would have been better. Yeah,
storm.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, the covers of as Chris is saying, the covers of the Vader and Maul omnibuses are very good. Like they're a great choice for it. And then this one here, so this is the Epic collection for the Old Republic. It's volume 4.
There you go. If you're looking for a gift, you can buy me one of those. Yeah, cool.
And yeah, that covers a ton of different material. But otherwise, that's all the new comics coming out tomorrow. Basically 2 issues and 2 trade paperbacks.
All right.
My issues giving us crap about.
Shockingly.
I'm happy spamming the chat though.
You said you specifically asked me to give me all the Junes. You said give me all the ones, the rainbows. Everybody knows that's a lie because you're the most untrustworthy LCS in the history of the world. Because I still haven't got all my orders from like 2 years ago. Watching freak out over that. We're also done all the Empire variants for like 2 years. Waited no comic books. This is a Star Wars show. It's not a comic book show. Joke's on you. The covers. All right, so I saw the first one up is just call you Tank. First one up is the Book of Eli. No, that's not right.
The book, the Book of Eli. The book of Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Now, what's funny is only one image. Yeah. So most of these images are going to be the logos for everyone. Basically, so the Book of Boba Fett. It's actually the only show that has a date attached to it. It's December 2021. No specific date, but it is going to be in December. And the only information that's known about the show is Tamora Morrison confirmed that it will explore Boba Fett's past since Empire Strikes Back going forward. As well as Tamora Morrison, he's playing Boba Fett, and Mingda Wen is playing Fennec Shan again, and it's directed by Robert Rodriguez of Spy Kids fame, I'll say.
Robert Rodriguez, like as in the one that did the vampire
Desperado, Spy Kids.
That could be. I mean, it's
he directed the episode where Boba was back.
That's actually not bad. Like I'm actually
he'd be really
mad at that. Yeah, nice.
So it's going to be a bunch of flashbacks. And
yeah, so that's the only information about the show. They finished filming recently, but that's the only information we have of the show, which I'm curious because he said The Empire Strikes Back. So I wonder how much are we going to see of like flashbacks and such. Obviously, going to be wearing helmets, and you don't really need to show a young actor.
So you mean flashback?
Gentafanosaurus. Listen, we have nicknames for people, man.
You gotta speak Huttese in this show.
You talking about flashbacks before Empire Strikes Back, or
no? So he said from Empire Strikes Back onwards, Boba Fett's. So between then and Return of the Jedi.
So we're assuming that he's like, I guess if he's narrating it or whatever, the current time is like the Mandalorian time.
Yes, and probably between leaving the Sarlacc and where he shows up in Mandalorian.
And if they're just being, they're kind of going pretty heavy on this War of the Bounty Hunters, which is also set in that time, how much of this comic is going to be appearing in the Book of Boba Fett? Is there going to be overlap? Is there going to be new content that we haven't seen in the comic? That's
the thing, yeah. How will they adapt any of it?
Will they be the same characters? Because they're kind of throwing the gauntlet at this comic series.
Mm-hmm.
And they're throwing all the characters we love in there.
So do we have any, like you were saying, do we know anything? Can it go all
literally all we know? That's all we know about the show. Like confirmed, everything else is just rumors and speculation, which is what we're doing.
Because I wouldn't mind finding out what happened from the Clone Wars to Star Wars.
I think it'd be a really cool idea because the what's his name? What's the actor's name who played young Boba Fett?
The kid?
The kid who's a young adult. He always sorry?
He's not that famous. I don't know him.
That's the thing. He's not that famous, but he has a full suit of Boba Fett armor he had like made, and he goes to conventions dressing all the time, and he's always big on it. And obviously, does the voice acting. I think it'd be cool if they had him play him in between the if they were going to show stuff just
really. Do you remember him? He had like, I don't know, it was a spoken line. He had like 4 of them, and it was amazing. Just to remind you, now he spent his adult life milking the piss out of those 4 lines he had by dressing up and going to conventions. I'm not sure they're going to plug him in.
He did it in the Clone Wars, though. He voiced him throughout the Clone Wars.
Here first, we know who's playing one of Boba Fett's characters. Chris said spec talk, so let's spec talk right there.
Daniel Logan, that's the name. It hit me in the head.
Look out.
Wow. Okay.
So
yeah,
what do you think?
I do think they're gonna slow burn it. So I think it's gonna be a lot of starting off probably a while back, and then they're going to jump back and forth because they're gonna have to have her involved. But I do think they're gonna. I mean, do you think they are going to show what happened in the past? You think they're going to start day one? He's in charge of his own gang empire and he's going forward, or you think they're definitely going to show some past stuff?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Because she's in the show, so they can't just go do nothing but go far back.
I think it'd be interesting because obviously Fennec in The Mandalorian says the reason how she met Boba was him saving her and like fixing her up. It'd be interesting if they kind of like did a start from there, like that part where he's walking up to her in the end credit scene. It'd be interesting if that's where the start off point would be.
Because I will say this: if they have an amazing story and they have a good director who can do a Western for sure, if they have an amazing story, I also don't mind that. I feel like Disney is really retconning and just like forcing like background stuff, and they're not all. I don't see how they're all going to weave together in the end of it. I think they're just hoping we're going to ignore the fact that couldn't have happened because he should have been known about on a lot of these. But I mean, I wouldn't mind if some of Fett's history was just a mystery. Like if you never know why he was a sand person, like that's kind of interesting. I mean, look how much they jumped the shark when they said Baby Yoda's name. And then all of a sudden, all that merchandising dropped off real fast when they actually said his past. What's happening, Colonel?
Well, they're going to have to flashback further back than that. I mean, he has a relationship with a lot of characters, including Han.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're bringing younger Han actor back for...
Are they?
One of the other shows, probably.
That's 2 of my favorites right there, Mr.
Lopez. Talk. They can explore the relationship between Han, because he obviously knew Boba Fett from when he was blind, and he said, "There's Boba Fett. Where is he?" When he was freaking out.
Well, as we've pretty much explored a lot of the bounty hunters at this point. Obviously, all of them were either his mentor at one time, or were a rival of his, or teamed up with him. So he knows every bounty hunter. And the other thing is, if you want to make a bounty hunter legitimate, you can put Long Dong McDong on there, and as long as he had one past story where him and Han had a little scuff up, and maybe he shot the Millennium Falcon, then he's a real bounty hunter. That's how every one of them their past is. So,
and appeared over someone's shoulder.
We are discussing future Disney Plus shows, and right now we were talking about the Book of Boba Fett,
which I think that's about all we could say for it.
Jabba's gonna have to appear.
So here's a good one for each of these shows and projects. Are you excited for it, or are you going to be like?
I will, every one of these, I will say I'm excited for it, but I have no faith whatsoever in the storytelling of Disney, because they're going to try to like shoehorn stuff in that doesn't need to be in. Boba Fett is a nasty, murderous assassin who incinerated poor farmers who were just trying to get, some moisture farming going on. And if they make him some kind of like feel good guy, I mean, he can do it now, but if they go back to his past and he's not raping and pillaging, I'm gonna be like, what are we doing? Because you made him out to be this guy who has to be told Darth Vader. Darth Vader had to ask him to calm down.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Better yet, the show should just start with Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru begging for their lives, and it's Boba Fett, disintegrating them, burning the whole ranch down.
He's just like,
would be a start
over there. He's not even looking over there. He's just like, why is discussing something over there?
No,
all right, all Star Wars characters are cool, but for everlasting, there's only a handful that are not already there. Moving onward, Revan, Bane, Sabine, Cad Bane, of course, Thrawn, but Ezra is the future. I don't know. Star Wars Rebels is my favorite because I've said 1,000 times the connection I have for with my son, but Star Wars Rebels does not make sense in the Star Wars mythos, because if you have two Jedis running around causing havoc and basically started the rebels, why is it shocking that Luke Skywalker's running around? Because everyone should have known, hey, there's two Jedis running around all over the place causing mayhem, fighting with Darth Vader, fighting with Darth Maul. Aren't people talking about this? Like, it seems a little bit weird.
A little suspicious, yeah.
All right, so next up, yes,
I'm really excited, by the way. I probably out of all of them, I think I'm the most excited for that, just because I love Boba Fett so much.
Yeah, but that's also could be the biggest disappointment, though, because it's Boba Fett is one of those people who had this much screen time, but is like up there, like top 3, top 4. Like if they start flashing symbols of people, he jumps up there, and it's crazy. But that also means the expectations are crazy high for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be
probably unfortunately, like, we're gonna expect way more than we probably should. Honestly.
Yeah. But moving on from that, another Mandalorian is Mandalorian season 3. This one, even less information. All that's said for this is it's to be announced. They haven't picked a date. There is no confirmed cast. The only cast member confirmed to be returning is Pedro Pascal for Din Djarin.
Guess what? He's the Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian. That's it.
You're gonna have him in it.
No other plot. There's no plot details. Nothing else about the show. Obviously, they're putting their focus right now on the Book of Boba Fett, and this is taking its rest. But this season could go pretty much anywhere at this point. Because Grogu's off doing his thing, so he's away now. That part's done. He's right now he's alongside
what's happening, bud?
Yeah, he's right now alongside Bo-Katan, so they could still and obviously they have what's his name, Moff Gideon in cuffs and everything, so they can go the route of retaking Mandalore, or he can go off on his own way and do his thing. But what do you guys think could happen with this whole new season? You think it'll still be as good as the past two?
I would be okay with it not coming back for a while.
Yeah.
I think Disney's going to want it to, because I don't know if all these shows are going to have great ratings. But I would be okay with it going away for a while, because I kind of want them to maybe world build a little bit and then have a story ready to go, because they kind of tied up all the storylines a little bit. Like, there's not a lot.
You did a good job cleaning it, yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, if they ended it now, that's not terrible. It's not a terrible way to end that, because then you get guest appearances here and there. But I'd be okay with them slow playing this, because I don't even know where they're going to go from this, other than
that's the thing. It's so open ended. Like you have so many options.
I think it's going to be. Mandalore.
It has to be. Yeah.
It has to be, and it's probably going to follow the Darksaber. And I don't even think Baby Yoda is going to be in it. To be honest,
I agree. If I could be certain about anything, it's probably he's not going to be there, or if he does, he's going to, show up in, mention or passing, maybe what cameo, and that's it.
You know what I would think would be good for it is if Disney decides, which I think could be really good, if they decide to make a movie or a TV show based on the Mandalorians, I call it Mandalorians, and
alien stuff,
and they put season 3 leading up to it as like almost like a hype for the movie or the TV show, and on like the last episode of that one, he's like arriving on Mandalore, maybe has a dark saber, and then that's the final episode for that one, and it leads right into the Mandalore movie or whatever. I think that could be good. But other than that, I mean, it has to be Mandalore. That's the only part that's even in question.
Place, yeah. Otherwise, he's just going to disappear again. But
all right, so
I like the feel of that comment about.
Although there is no social media. The Empire, they do talk to each other. They have communications, and none of them. Remember the guy? I'm not going to be scared away by your old religion, Lord Vader, and he chokes that guy. Remember, because he doesn't believe it. He doesn't think it's even happening.
Technically, there is the HoloNet. That's where the social media is.
There you go, HoloNet for the win.
It's essentially
some weird looking guy, David. I don't know who that guy is.
I do like that. I think there's
Luke's Jedi Academy will appear.
There has to be a tease because they're going to have to make a whole show about that.
I wonder, that would be an interesting miniseries if they just did a 6-episode one where it focuses on the Academy and like Luke starting it up and then going on throughout the whole thing. And you can have people like Kyle Katarn show up in the other famous Legends ones. You can have them slotted in there.
All right.
Bo-Katan definitely, right?
Yeah, 100%. She has to be returning for it. Otherwise,
and she's that's a well-known actress. They paid well. I mean, she's a pretty well-known actress, so they're not going to just have her and then not use her. I would assume.
Now, season one started when? December?
I think
they're gonna have to, as you guys said, they're gonna have to hold off.
Well, because this December is Book of Boba Fett, so obviously this is their interim show. Like they're taking a break from Mandalorian, so maybe 2022, the year after, depending.
Wow.
They're planning something where they're gonna have them all kind of coincide together.
Hey, Colonel, I don't know if you watched all of Rogue One, but it didn't end well for the blind guy on Rogue One. Just so you know, like it didn't,
his seeing eye dog kind of died. So
it could be a prequel for the blind guy.
I would have been okay with this if it wasn't for the last movie that will not be named, because he's just a big giant girl. So I don't have any caring how he became the dark side because they just totally ruined that character. So it doesn't really matter. Other people might enjoy why that girl became so powerful, but Ahsoka, one of my favorites.
So Ahsoka is fun.
Yeah.
Again, so this has a lot of rumors going on with this show, but there is 2 things of note. So for the show, there's no details on plot, cast, or timeline again, as they don't want to announce anything except for a word. The only thing is, Rosario Dawson's back as Ahsoka, and recently there was a casting announcement that went out. So the details of the casting announcement was this: it was they were hiring a lead female character in their 20s to 30s, preferably Asian ethnicity, was what they had said. So lots of rumors to that being it's Barriss Offee.
Yes, except for I did watch a show like 10 minutes before we came on where they talked about, of course, this is all just rumors. That's what we're here, baby.
Yeah, hey, hit that button. This is what we're here for.
Is that it doesn't make sense because by her age, she would be in her 40s. However, I would like to point out to my man P-Wall that a lot of people are saying that no, there is a group of people that go with Ezra and they hang out together that is of Asian descent. Could be. It depends on how they draw it in the cartoon. And
yeah, Sabine.
She's of that age and she's really close with Ahsoka. And they're saying that that our friendly painting Mandalorian person could be the person they're actually talking about, which is kind of exciting if it is.
That makes sense. The other thing I was going to bring into it is there's been those rumors of a Rebels sequel series, and people were thinking it was in live action now that Filoni's working with all this, and people assume that Ahsoka would make sense considering she was looking for Thrawn in Mandalorian. Thrawn's with Ezra, and so the timeline is weird because we see...
There you go. Right there's the beat.
So the
and I'm gonna tell you right now, that we do know the spec on that one. I won't hit the button again, but you should have bought it a few years ago on the Sabine and anybody from the Rebels.
Oh, the block. The one thing is a timeline's weird where they're going to be with it because so Mandalorian, we know when it's set, like season 2 is set, and Ahsoka's there looking for Thrawn still. And then at the end of Rebels, we don't know how far into the future that jump is, but she's still looking for them with Sabine. So and she has a huge cloak outfit, which she doesn't have in The Mandalorian. So I do wonder where the show is going to take place, closer to Mandalorian or closer to that point in Rebels, leading into maybe sequel series.
P-Wall's bringing the heat, son. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Number 6, $2,000 right now. So that's not. I'm not even going to throw up. That's a you missed it already kind of thing.
You missed that boat.
So do we 100% confirmed on the timeline? Is it?
There's no confirmation on timeline at all.
No, I just mean like has Disney said that Mandalorian takes place here, Rebels I mean, we obviously by context.
So we know where Rebels takes place, and we know
that
Mandalorian season 2 takes place. But the ending of Rebels, we don't know when. All we know is it's after Return of the Jedi, which is already Mandalorian's after Return of the Jedi. But Ahsoka has so much differences in her outfit that, and she's still looking for Thrawn in both of them. So we don't know where the crossover period is.
You know what's interesting? I hated Ahsoka when I first started watching Clone Wars.
Everyone did, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, she just grew on me, and then Rebels, it was really when it changed.
I will say that
I love the character in that.
Yeah.
When I started watching thing, it was already like I didn't watch the watch the cartoon, the Clone Wars from the beginning. It was already a thing when I started watching it. So I already knew that she existed. And I remember thinking it was kind of jolting when she came in there, just because it was like more of a serious, other than the guy was like, oh, are we going to have the Confederate of the Planets? Like that little weird newscaster guy. Other than that, it was kind of a serious thing.
Colonel Yularen, yeah.
And then she came in and it was like wisecracking, smart-ass teenager person. So it was kind of jolting, but I already knew that she existed. So it wasn't that like obnoxious to me, but I guess I could see why. I don't know, by like, I feel like she kind of grew, I guess. I don't know if they purposely did that or if it was just a natural progression. So by the end, I really liked Ahsoka.
Yeah, definitely natural progression, especially seeing her. Like I watched that Clone Wars movie in theaters when it came out, the animated one, and yeah, I remember watching her in that movie, and it was like, it was weird. I was a kid, so it was like a kid who cares, but like I understood at the time, like this is weird seeing her. So
was that one? I can't remember because I've watched all of it. Is that the one where she has the baby on her back?
Yes, with the hut. That we have no idea about.
That right there. I probably have to rewatch that 3 more times because every time I see that, the questions start popping in my head about that little worm on her back. It's like I'm so focused on watching that thing and it's sick or whatever that I don't even know what's really going on in the cartoon because I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, the movie came out in 2008. It's just 4 episodes of the show basically put together and stringed into one proper film.
So excited about Ahsoka or just like confused at what it's going to be like?
Definitely excited.
I'm really excited for. I hope they
bring the owl in.
Get a little owls too.
Weave the owl in somehow.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that they do for the show because they're probably going to have a lot of other, like I said, there's probably Rebels characters will be there. I hope they do a good job with the casting. That's my biggest concern, especially if they're going to do Thrawn in it. I would hope they do casting well on him. There's also fan castings for all these different characters, and some of the fan castings I think are pretty.
Let me tell you about where the old man hate is about to come in now. Because we know what Disney's going to do with that casting because that art style led it to be kind of anybody and everyone could be. You know what I mean? So I got a feeling that instead of getting a really great actor to play a really favorite character of mine, they're just going to pick somebody that is, I don't know. I think they're going to take a box on a couple of those characters and it's going to really irritate me because I need acting, please. I don't need any more Omega. I need some actual acting, please. Please. Disney, please.
I saw there was some video. It was like I was scrolling through Instagram with a feed, And there was like someone was asking, it was like an interview with her. It's like, where did you find your voice for Omega? And I was like, I kind of started laughing.
She was born with that freaking voice.
And she was like talking, and I'm like, that's my first time. I'm like, just your voice, just speaking voice.
Yeah, I don't care about like casting. I don't even care if they change things, do things. I just want a really good actor to start playing some of these things, please. Okay, next one up is Rangers of the New Republic. I hate this freaking name, by the way, but okay.
It's a mouthful.
It's a lot.
Now, this show
wasn't it Rangers of the Republic, not the New Republic?
No, it was New Republic because
it's always been the New Republic. Yeah.
Okay.
What's fun? Yeah, it makes it even worse. It's like kind of like a Mandela effect in your brain. Like it's just too long.
Ranger. Sorry, that's all I can think of is Buzz. Space Ranger.
So this has probably the weirdest details, I guess. So basically,
yeah, hit us with it. Come on, let's get it out.
So this one basically, all we know is it's supposed to cross over directly with the Mandalorian and other characters at that same time period, like that same point, season 2. Filoni and Favreau are the only names attached to the series officially. There's no cast. There's no.
You don't need anything else. You said all you need to say. We can move on to the next show.
That's it. And then basically,
right there.
I'll say two other little things. Basically, the speculated cast was first name was funny. It was Dave Filoni because he had the character Trapper Wolf in the pilot.
Oh.
Yeah, then you have him. You have Paul Sun-Hyun as Carson Teva, Kim's Convenience himself. Carl Weathers as Grief Karga. Timothy Olyphant as Cobb Vanth, and Bill Burr as Miggs Mayfield. And then people, if Gina Carano is going to return or not. And the other one is the show was actually put on a hiatus because they have to work on all these other shows first. So obviously they don't really care about this show, it seems. So
are you needing to go into another dimension here? The door is slowly opening.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, here 1 second.
Poltergeist.
Yeah. That's what I figured. Yeah. So I mean, this could go anywhere. Up until Bad Batch, which we were texting each other about it, Kachung, and about like maybe doing a review. He said mid-season, but I think we're gonna do this like end of the season review. Up until then, Filoni could do no wrong in my eyes. I don't care what he did. You can tell me he kicks a baby every night, and I would have been like, it's probably justified. However, after seeing this Bad Batch, I have my concerns, but I still have faith that I will be excited about this. I have no idea what it's about. I have no clue. It could be heart garbage, but I am I'm excited about this one.
I think it'll be like a Wild West, a Western, more than the Mandalorian even.
That'd be crazy because I feel like they've kind of done a lot of like Wild Western kind of things.
It might be a bit much constantly doing the Westerns, but if they did, I mean, that would probably be like the Magnificent Seven, I feel.
Did he already play Bane, though? Didn't Tom Hardy play Bane?
He did. Yeah. He played
Remember?
Hey, he wants to play all the Banes.
And he has a mask, so it could work. He could just pull out that old mask and just do it all over again. Leo DiCaprio is Revan. Patrick, well, I'll ban you.
Cillian Murphy as Cad Bane. That's interesting.
He would be pretty good.
Other than having Leo, I don't want Leo DiCaprio anywhere near Star Wars. Other than that, I'm not bad. I'm not impressed.
That's the thing. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, you put him anywhere in it, I'm not going to see the character. I'm just going to see him.
Yeah, he's just. I'm not saying he's a bad actor, even though I want to hate on him. I'm not saying all that. It's Leo DiCaprio. It's like you might as well say Tom Hanks. Like, are you really going to see the character, or are you just going to see Tom Hanks?
Right, typecast. Like Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey could play an alien for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Jim Carrey is Thrawn. There, you heard it first. He'll do the chin thing.
No, that probably wasn't even funny. Actually,
we want to leave Larson as far from Star Wars.
Star Wars Andor.
So this is the show with the most information on it because it's
surprising.
It's actually happening. They're still filming it, and
he does have a mask, Patrick Wall. That was a long time ago, but he does have a mask from the The man in the iron mask. Sure enough. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. So so this one also has a date attached. It's 2022. Better than to be announced, determined. Good. So this show is set 5 years prior to Rogue One, with focusing on the early conflict between the Empire and the Rebels. And it's going to be featuring a very spy and thriller theme, almost like the Bourne series is kind of referred to.
Okay.
The confirmed cast that's returning is Diego Luna as Cassian Andor, Genevieve O'Reilly, who played Mon Mothma in Rogue One, and Alan Tudyk as K2SO, voicing him. Those are the returning, and confirmed cast members to play new characters are Stellan Skarsgård, Kyle Soller, and Denise Gao. The only name there that popped out as someone obviously was before was Stellan Skarsgård.
What does he do?
If I'm not mistaken, let me double check. That is the correct one. That's the in Thor. He's the scientist.
Okay.
Yeah,
he'll be playing someone there, probably an Imperial. Just the look of him.
Scientist.
Whoa.
Other
me, sir. You just gonna throw him out there like that? Typecast him like that?
Yes.
Just the look of him.
Any British man or Scandinavian will automatically put.
How dare you, sir? What are you insinuating? I did not appreciate that.
Otherwise,
yeah, you're right. He's definitely going to play some kind of Imperial. No doubt about that.
Otherwise, the other confirmed thing, this is interesting to me, is so they have who's writing it. And so the showrunner and the main director is Tony Gilroy, who worked on Rogue One directly with writing it and such. His brother, Dan Gilroy, is also writing. He wrote the movie Nightcrawler, Jake Gyllenhaal. Did you ever watch that one? That was a really good thriller movie.
That's not bad. I mean, that's not a bad. I mean, they're getting people, and as long as that Yahoo, who's in charge of Star Wars, you know her name, as long as she doesn't throw a fit and get everyone fired like she's done on all these other movies she's ever been in charge of, this sounds like they're doing a pretty good job with the showrunners and the directors so far. And
then, actually, and funny enough, there are two people attached to it for writing. Steven Skiff, it's a show called The Americans. I don't recognize, but
that was on like TNT. Okay. Pretty good.
And then Bo Willimon, they're a main writer on House of Cards.
Oh,
so they're adding to the credibility with the with that kind of focus.
The Americans were a spy show. So yeah, it was about I think they were like Russian assets pretending to be Americans in America or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
wow, that's a lot of stuff.
I know. So that's a lot of details for this show. I loved Rogue One. I thought it was my favorite of all the new Star Wars movies they did. When they announced the show, I was like, okay, I could care less though. But now this kind of makes me interested enough with how much they're focusing in on the thriller and spy based on who they've got working on it now, who they've hired.
You know what I think Star Wars could use? I think they could use a little bit rated R. And here's where I would go with that spy thing. I think it should be like a Game of Thrones style where you don't really know what's going to happen. Like maybe you get a pretty decent star and they're a spy and they get captured and immediately just get assassinated right there on the thing. And you're like, you don't know what's going to happen. Because I feel like if you make
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, right away. But if you make it tense, then you don't know what's going to happen. But if everybody always just at the last second they got away or they get captured and they find a way to get them out later, you know what I mean? And fall into that kind of the way Star Wars has done it. But I think if you make it a little aggressive, if you make it where, I don't know Disney's going to let them, but if you make it where you kill a couple of them off, a lot of them, I mean, let's be honest, they're the rebels. They should lose a lot of people.
Which also thinking about Rogue One was the movie where they had everyone die. Yeah. It would fit in the show really well too.
Yeah, I think that would be really good if they did something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So or you think there'll be Jedi in it? Probably not.
So I think if they were, it would be probably Mon Mothma mentioning like Kanan or Ezra. Because if it's early on enough, we won't see them, I don't think.
They got to start mentioning them now. Like, I don't care.
They need to start bringing them up.
Otherwise, they need to start at least mentioning or having the background a blue light goes by as they're like, well, so like they threw in the ship, they threw in the Ghost or whatever.
Yeah, so like Ghost was there and Hera was in that battle. So it would only make sense if they show there was some mention, but I was gonna say for the show, what's some people you would want? Because that's the only confirmed returning cast for those three characters, and there's a lot of people they can bring in. Like even Disney loves their Saw Gerrera now, bring him in every single thing. So I was surprised they didn't announce.
Colonel, one more like this, and you'll be putting a timeout. I'm gonna put that out there.
Too young for Wedge, right?
No, because 5 years. We have to double check when Rebels how many years before Rogue One, but this is 5 years. Presumably, they're gonna probably have this as a season show going up to Rogue One. Is my thought.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see them as maybe not in season 1, maybe season 2, as they become more popular.
What are they going to infiltrate? If it's some kind of spy, there's no Death Star. It'd
be pretty cool if they break into like the ISB or like this or the because the Senate was still around at this point too.
Yeah, I think it could just be overall just causing mayhem and havoc, and maybe there's some things we didn't know about. Like I know one of the.
I was gonna say we haven't seen Coruscant at all since that one episode of Clone Wars. We have not seen Coruscant once.
I can't remember where I read it, but I remember reading in one of the books I was reading that there were like two theories. It was Death Star or increase your armada with all the ships to like double it or triple it.
That's what Thrawn wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Death Star when you can have thousands of ships and you can have all the TIE defenders you want.
Yeah. So maybe that's what they do. Maybe in the end of that they're sabotaging TIE defenders, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they kind of lean towards the Death Star, because these rebels spies were, causing havoc with some of that stuff. Like, I mean, you could do something like that. I don't think you need to see anybody, because anybody that's been known for Star Wars has either been a military person or like a rogue type. It's not necessarily a spy. They're kind of in it for themselves. So I don't know if you actually need they're going to do it, but I don't know if you need like somebody to show up, and have that moment.
More at briefings than anything, or at the base. Yavin probably.
I would say this: the first episode that I watched, first couple episodes, Patrick Wall, I thought he was like Aladdin, and I was a little annoyed, to be honest with you, because I was like, that's lazy writing.
So you would hate it if they casted Aladdin as Ezra.
Yeah, but then they turned it around, and I ended up liking him. But at first, I was like, well, he's just like a street rat who's like, stealing and all this kind of stuff. So I was kind of like, all right. So we excited about the spy thriller. They have a lot of good writing involved, so as long as it's good writing.
That's the thing. All the other shows, there's no real mention of writers. The only directors were Robert Rodriguez and Book of Boba. Everything else is just no names are attached. So this is the only one that has we have more details like that.
So I'm just bringing an Inquisitor in there somewhere.
Oh, I would be fun.
Yeah,
I feel like you got to have a little bit of. I feel like you got to have a little bit of color. A red lightsaber would look good in some tense situations.
I would love to see the helicopter in live action.
I think people would make fun of it if they did that. Now,
Grievous, they had that already.
Yeah.
Some respect in the room. Here's what we came to see. I'm glad you put it in this position, because all hail the leader of our world, Obi-Wan, my God, Kenobi. Hello.
The most important series. Now, Kenobi is interesting. Again, they're still filming it right now. There's no date attached. What they know is the show is set between episodes 3 and 4. Presumably flashback scenes. And we'll see why in a second. Otherwise, the only stuff else is they showed out this full cast announcement, which they only said Ewan McGregor is playing Obi-Wan, obviously, and Hayden Christensen is playing, they said, both Anakin and Darth Vader. All the other actors, they have no confirmed characters.
I hope he gets a decent director, because he annoyed the piss out of me as that character. So hopefully he gets a good director this time that will actually help him through his dialogue.
Well, I think is interesting is if they do they say he's playing both Anakin and Vader, and I would assume that by saying both of them, it means there's flashback scenes, and those scenes will be
absolutely.
So I hope they will get that Clone Wars armor. I would be so happy.
Let me tell you something. If they put Sir McGregor in the Clone Wars armor, they're gonna have my money. Whatever they come out with, I'm just gonna hand them my wallet and they can just take it, and then I will be buying whatever Black Series, whatever they come.
You'll have the pre-order even before
it's all there. It'll all be there.
Hasbro
have it.
Can you zoom in a bit? Can you zoom in a little?
Yeah, so zoom in, and this is the cast. This is the only show that has a cast, full cast announcement.
Who's the love interest?
So yeah, they didn't mention any details on who's playing what. There's no characters mentioned except for obviously the top build up there. Otherwise, everything else is up to complete speculation. And oh, sorry, I'm lying to you. There is two people there who are obviously returning. Joe Egerton and Bonnie Picey, I believe the name is there. Yeah. They're playing Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru because they were the same people who played them in episode 3.
This when I first saw this, it concerns me because he's questionable. I love him, but he's questionable. His acting ability. Take a look at it. Ice Cube Jr. here is questionable. I know he gets all this praise for playing his daddy, but that's questionable. So I'm a little bit concerned about a few of these. She's awesome. He's obviously pretty good. He's funny, but I wonder, you know what I mean? Like this because
coming off Eternals, we'll see how he is.
That's what I'm saying. So, and this guy can be good too. So yeah. I got a mixed bag of good and let's see what happens kind of thing with this cast.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, of that cast there, the most interesting one to me is Indar Varma. There was two. Obviously, we talked about this before on one of the episodes when this was announced as news. But I still feel she would either play Ventress or Satine in a flashback.
And like I said, there were I was telling him before we came on today, there was some set photos leaked where she is in an Imperial costume, but that does not necessarily mean she's playing an Imperial. It just means at some point she dressed up as an Imperial. So either she is one or she's just pretending to be one for the sake of the plot kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so what do you guys think then? What do you think of this casting?
Do we have? Is this anything else? You only have
that's
two?
all there is.
I'm completely outraged by this. There should have been at least 5 other photos. However, here's the thing. This is it. I'm right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
You better hope it was, because if you were for sure about that, we're gonna have a conversation.
You'll be drifting sand speeders on Tatooine.
Okay, so here we go. I do not know who the director is. Do we know who the director is?
There's no director, I believe. I think there at one point Ron Howard was attached, but I think that was just a rumor. There was no.
I'm trying to keep. You don't understand how many chips I've slid across a table on this here Kenobi show. I'm trying to be positive. I'm when they announced it, the fan nerds were like, "Oh, it's so awesome," and I was like, I cringed a bit. This is because of I don't like sand. It gets all over the place. I don't. But I'm right here. I'm right here. This is the team I'm on. If they screw this crap up because of whatever reason, if they make a show and it's just not that good, but they tried, I'm okay with it. But if they screw it up because Disney's shenanigans, then I'm going to. Well, I mean, my track record's not good about me saying Disney's not getting another nickel from me because I just went to Disney World, but. There will be repercussions. Disney won't notice it, they won't feel it, and they won't care. But there will be repercussions in the pocketbook. I can tell you right now, because they got to get this one right. This is the one that fans have wanted. This is the one that people were asking way before there was ever a Disney Plus. This is the one that people.
This is the one they wanted a spinoff movie of before they announced the first spinoff movie.
Yes. This is it. This is you got the good actor. You got the guy playing Kenobi. You got it. This is what you want. And I just feel like. They need to make sure all the chips are in and they get this one right. If they can screw up all the rest of them, in my opinion. Because a lot of the ones we talked about, you could make those and they could be moderate successes, and the fanboys like us are going to watch them, and we're going to find things we like and find things we hate. To me, the Kenobi one is the one that you could bring in new, and you're going to bring in Disney Plus people to watch because everybody knows Kenobi and they know Ian McGregor. So to me, that's the one that they need to be focused on.
Yeah,
Do you think it's going to be repeatable? Like, is it just going to be one season with that timeline, or is it going to then jump back to other times in his past?
That was the other thing. It wasn't confirmed if it was going to be. So none of these shows have confirmations if it's a season or.
Yeah, that's sad. I don't think any of them are operating on multiple seasons.
The only ones confirmed to be a season, actually, well, obviously Mandalorian, Boba Fett, because apparently there was a photo that had the word S1 next to it, but none of these have a season attached. They're all right now have no announcement. But Kenobi, I think I remember someone mentioning at some point, some Lucasfilm person, that it was going to be limited, like how like the other Marvel shows are.
I would say that one makes sense to me, and I hope they do get somebody like a really, I think Ron Howard could use a start to finish directorial. That'd be nice for him because he's a good one. And all the people in that show, we recognize them, right? So I don't know if you're going to be able, unless you're going to kill them all off. All those people make millions of dollars making movies, and I don't know if you're going to keep them going for 3 or 4 years. So I can see that one being a one-time season.
That's one thing.
Make it good.
It's a lot of money to put.
But Disney's not afraid to make money. Look how much money they spent on that train wreck that amazing show that was Scarlet in the goofball. They spent millions of dollars an episode on that, so they don't have a problem throwing the bucks around.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, so what are you considering? So this is supposed to be between 3 and 4. We don't really know which end is it leaning more towards. But so far we've seen in the comics the journal of journals of Ben Kenobi in the comics in the early runs, and we know later, closer to episode 4, he fights Darth Maul. I would love to see that adapted, but I don't think they will. But what do you think
Maul is in it
with it? What do you think has to
be in it?
Sorry?
Maul has to be in it, right? Haven't they been showing the guy that plays him?
Park or whatever.
Well, they show him,
teasing.
He was in Solo for that cameo, and that was it.
I'm gonna tell you, the gentleman who plays Darth Maul will do that for a bucket of fries and a large Coke. Because that guy.
What's funny is they had
Ray Park playing Darth Maul again.
They had Ray Park play him, and then they had Sam Whitaker actually do the voiceover in that movie. So it was both of the actors are playing him, which is funny to me. But I wonder, what do you guys think they'll do with the story then, considering it can go anywhere in that 20-year span, and presumably he's on Tatooine the whole time. So
it's hard to know because you have to make it enjoyable. So you can't be sitting there watching soaps all day.
You can't be crying.
While having a telescope on the farm. Like he has to be doing something that's enjoyable. I don't know because Kenobi was so famous. The problem that Star Wars has is that when you do stuff like this, like remember when you're watching the cartoon, Clone Wars, those two were the most famous people in all of the known universe, and they were on all the commercials and all the propaganda. It was Kenobi and Darth Vader. It was you know what I mean? So like he is so famous that I just don't know. I mean, I know it's out there and it's in the Hutt territories, but I don't know if he could just walk around, especially if he lights a lightsaber up. I don't know if he can do that. Mm-hmm. And everyone assumed, including Darth Vader, that he was dead. So it would just be weird that I don't know how out there he could be, but you got to be able to tell stories. So I don't know.
That's the thing. And he's probably going to go by Ben Kenobi at this point. Maybe not. Like, at what point does he consider Ben Kenobi?
Hold on. Yeah, I think it does too. That's another problem, right? Because there's also memes of how it doesn't make sense that nobody knows this Obi-Wan Kenobi because he changed to Old Ben and all the other stuff. He doesn't. So if they could find a clever way to answer a lot of that stuff, like he clearly knows who R2-D2 is, but he's keeping it quiet for now. And if they could, announce that is like John Smith or something. But I feel like they're going to have to find a way to answer some of those problems that have been around since 1978. Because I don't know. Like, do you have an idea of what they're going to do?
No.
Long lost brother. That's all. That's literally the only thing. But even then, yeah, it's really strange. Obviously, the Owens know who he is.
They do.
So he's not hiding it. The only person he'd have to hide it from is just, people on Tatooine might recognize the name, but they probably don't really understand it. They don't recognize how big he is. But the bigger, like Jabba the Hutt, 100%, and all the crime lords, they would recognize that name. So that's the issue. People like everyday people, he could probably walk through Mos Eisley, no one would bat an eye. Maybe they'd be like, okay, that's a little suspicious as robes, but like if you walk to Jabba's palace, they'd be like, oh, I recognize this guy here.
Don't forget the corner they painted themselves in, because he had brown robes that I think was just supposed to be some hermit living in the desert. And then they decided to retcon that into what all Jedi wear are those brown robes. So the robes he wears is basically, I am a Jedi and I'm walking around in Jedi robes. So it's going to be really hard for him just to, because most bounty hunters are going to know who he is. All the crime lords are going to know who he is. And so anybody, that's what I'm saying. If he walks in the cantina, freaking, one of the bounty hunters is going to recognize him pretty fast, I would imagine. So unless he's putting on a mask or something, I can't imagine that he's going to be able to go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
It'll be fun, though.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of sand people, Jawas.
This is the one that I will be giggling like a schoolgirl as soon as his name pops up on the screen, and then my stomach will drop, and I will be nothing but a bag of wretchedness until I see if it's any good, because of how important this needs to be.
I know you're going to be going frame by frame when the trailer comes out.
I won't do it, but there's a lot of people on YouTube who will do it for me, and I can watch their frame by frame, and they can tell me what they see. They put a lot of work in that stuff, and although I see that it wasn't, which it should have been, our finale. Apparently, you decided to put a few things behind it.
Yeah, yeah. So the finale is going to be great because it's a video game. So the next one is the Acolyte. This one's interesting to me because it's
Sith related, right?
So it's Sith related. It's actually going to be the first motion picture, so it's TV show, movie, any live action, or even animated, that's going to be set in the High Republic era, and it's going to be set near the tail end of it, focusing on the emergence.
I knew where you're going.
So focusing on the how they say it, the emergence of dark powers, which that could easily be leading into people like Plagueis or Palpatine or even Darth Bane, depending how they play it, because he's already canon from the Clone Wars. Otherwise, that's all we know. Otherwise, there is one person called Leslie Headland who's set to write and showrun the series. And I recognize the name, but I can't remember what she's done offhand. So that's all.
I did read somewhere that somebody thought, or they had heard, that the current Old Republic comic books was going to have a hand in that, or at least being around the same time period.
Yeah, because this is the end of the High Republic. This is leading into the current. This is leading into basically the Phantom Menace era.
So it could be interesting, but I mean, there's not much to talk about other than the fact, because I don't even know, like.
Well, yeah, the
High
High
Republic even guessing
starting too, right? So we don't really know. And I mean, at the moment, I don't know. I'm interested in the part because it's talking about the dark power. So like, it'd be cool if we see Plagueis and young Palpatine and Darth Bane possibly. But otherwise, I mean, and it's cool seeing that era. But I would have much preferred an Old Republic kind of thing.
Way more.
That would have a much more interesting route. Also, if you set it so far back like that, you don't have to worry about repercussions like things so close to each other.
If you ever seen the what is that, the video game, the Star Wars,
I love all the cinematic
MMO, those cutscenes they do, and people put them together to make like one big movie. To me, that's like, I mean, it'd be hard to do in a live action, obviously, because a lot of the Jedi scenes and when Lucas was directing was a little bit corny. They didn't seem like to really know how to use their lightsabers, but those things are amazing, and I've always just wished that they would, even if it was that style, even if it was that kind of cutscene cartoon. She's been directing since but I've never heard of her.
Yeah, I just googled it too off to the side to see. I'm like, I was like, let me name something here, and I look at them. I'm like, I don't recognize any, nor do any are popular enough.
Yeah, I think this one has the biggest curveball to me. This could be awesome. or it could be where Disney really irritates me with what they're doing, just because of the choices they're making with the director, and it's kind of in a weird time period. The choices they're making with the comic books right now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is a big curveball where it could be pretty awesome if they play it right. It could be
just be forgettable too. Yeah. So
yeah.
What do you think, Chin, on that?
I think it's a good place to kind of set things up as far as historical. You have the High Republic going in comics right now, and that will set up the scene for where do these dark powers come from? Where do the Sith really come from? And is it, as we were talking about with Barris last week, is it just Jedi's kind of being too repressed,
too strict, and
too strict, and end up wanting to rebel and end up becoming dark like Anakin?
That's an interesting point. I didn't think about that until you started talking. It would be interesting to show how that Yoda, Mace Windu, like the two people who really made all the stupid decisions, what led them to believe that they were in a place now where they didn't really need to take it as seriously as they probably should. And you know what I mean? Like if the show ends up getting to that point where you're kind of seeing the groundwork where they believe them to be gone forever, and so they're kind of moving past that. Because I still have a lot of questions as to why they just assumed after thousands and thousands of years of them going away, coming back, come back, they just assumed they would never come back again.
Mm-hmm.
And if this show could start to answer some of those questions, that could be interesting. I would like that.
Yeah, showing like some event that basically kicked off, like, okay, this is obviously they're not coming back or something. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, interesting idea. That would be, but yeah, definitely I agree. Curveball of the series could be great, could be forgettable, could be just bad or good. It could be anything.
I'm hoping for the best on all these, no matter how much I complain. No. I'm hoping for absolute amazing.
The next one is another of your favorites. So this one has confirmation. I like this. So I actually think Lando's going to be a really fun series because they said the series will star both Billy D. Williams and Daniel Glover as Lando Calrissian. And the plot and timeline is unknown, but they did confirm that throughout the show, it will have Williams narrating adventures of a younger Lando, and as well as more current stuff. So this is this is going to be your James Bond,
Okay, now
I think it's pretty fun.
I'm very excited.
He can't run around much anymore.
There is an amazing man that needs to be used more, and that is Lando. However, we know what Disney tried to pull. They tried to pull a fast one with Lando. So I don't mind if Lando is kind of like, hey, baby, I'm here to party and I'm here to rock. That's fine. But if you take it too far, where he falls in love with a toaster or a ship or whatever, and they just make it about, checking a box, then it could go sideways for me. But you can't go wrong with Lando Calrissian because it can go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, he's got his hand in every Kool-Aid in the world. He knows every in and every out. So this could be really awesome.
This would be your fun anthology series. I think I mentioned a second ago, I just realized it'd be fun, a good James Bond for him, where he's kind of powwowing around, doing his own thing.
I want to see how he got to basically run Cloud City.
There you go. I was going to say that being said,
that'll probably be an episode or two story.
I didn't like the young Gambino. I did not like his portrayal of him necessarily, because Billy D. Williams is like seriously, he is the definition of smooth. He's the definition of cool. He basically scammed a bunch of people to allow him to be their leader in the sky. He scammed Darth Vader. He scammed everybody just with his oozing greatness. You know what I mean? Just charisma. And Danny Glover was kind of like a bumbling goofball. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think that also has to deal with the movie being the direction being all over the place and having a reshoot change.
Yeah.
So the tone being all over. But I think if it was a consistent tone and focus, and obviously if they're having Billy D and Glover both there together, I think it would be cool. They're both on set, like, talking and interacting would help the character.
I need Billy Weed to get that young man's ear. Be like, listen, let me tell you something. You need to get yourself a Colt 45 and you need to chill. Let me tell you how to play this character. Because honestly, like if you think about it, he's kind of goofy. He like talks to himself because nobody's listening to him. He's talking more about all of his capes, and he's like whining in the ship. And then he takes the takeoff flying away was fine. And I'm like, did you not watch that? He never watched the 1980. You know what I mean? Like where he's the coolest man in the room, baby. Like, come on. So I wouldn't mind seeing him transition to that, where he's like, okay, I was kind of a goofball, but now it's like one thing after another. I'm just scamming, and I'm it's like Ric Flair. I'm jet flying, Rolex wearing, kissing all the girls and making them cry, baby. Like I need him to transition into this like right now.
Yeah. So I think maybe start him
Danny
off.
Donald Glover. He gets no mention of real name until he impresses me with the place he's doing. I will use his wrong name every time. I don't care. I'd rather have Danny Donald Glover than.
But so has is it Lobot? Will he appear?
Maybe.
Hooked up to some computer.
It would be interesting to find out how it got to that point, though. Honestly,
Yeah.
Well, did you ever read the Lando comic that they had put out?
No, I did not.
So the Lando comic that Marvel put out was the same time when they restarted the whole Marvel Star Wars, and they had done one for Leia, for Chewie, for all of them. So Lando's was how he took over Cloud City. And the process also shows Lobot how Lobot became him. I can't remember exactly, but basically it's like the Empire, if I'm not mistaken, the Empire, someone had taken part of his brain out, or some guild did, and they put a computer in.
Oh, so it's already canon.
Yeah, so it's already canon, but it would be, I mean, as you know, Marvel does, as Star Wars does, like in example, Bad Batch, they already retconned Kanan's backstory that was already set in the comics. They somewhat retconned it. It's like I wouldn't be surprised if they would still adapt the comic, but they would just change some stuff already.
Yeah.
All right, so we gotta speed this up. We're like not even.
Oh,
we're already an hour in, and we're not even through this thing yet.
We're almost there, though.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Is it right? Yeah. Vision. We already had a show about Vision. Why is he on this one?
He crossed the multiverse. So Visions is interesting. It's a 10-episode anime series featuring original short stories, or visions they call them. Each episode is from a different top animation studio in Japan. So I think it'd be cool. Just a little, like how Marvel's doing their What If show, right? Is going to be doing their What If. This is just a one little anime, different thing. Maybe we'll get like a TIE Fighter one. We'll get
Hey, honestly, to me, it's better. Like I was saying about that video game when they put all the cutscenes together. I think Star Wars at its prime when it's a cartoon, obviously, because you can make Jedis do what they're supposed to do, and I mean, other than the Kenobi and Anakin fight, where they were pretty good moving those lightsabers around pretty fast. Other than that, most of the Jedi in all the movies have looked very stiff and not super powered, I guess we'll say. So that could be really cool. A good cartoon is all right.
Yeah. What if Astro Boy was a Jedi?
There you go.
Godzilla appeared.
And then this is the last Disney Plus show they're doing. It's called A Droid Story now. Another animated series. This is from Lucasfilm Animation and ILM. It's starring R2-D2 and C-3PO, obviously. Anthony Daniels is voicing him. And they said it's going to star alongside a new character guiding them through an adventure. Obviously, it's just an updated version of the Droids TV series from the 80s.
Let me tell you how bad that was. So my face is not smiling right now.
I know.
I am not getting no good vibes from this. Zero good vibes from this show.
A couple episodes when I was a kid, and it was bad.
I just don't. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll see. If they make it for little ones,
that's probably what it's going to be.
It could be okay. Like if it's definitely made for like Disney children, then it could be okay. If it's going to be a serious anime, yikes. I don't know about that. We'll see. I mean, it could be.
wasn't there a comic series about?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's droids.
There was a comic. Same how they did Ewoks. There was a comic for it as well for droids.
Barbarians gave me a few of those. I can tell you, it's but on par with the cartoon. It's not a great read. I actually cracked open a few of those. I was like, yikes, that's about what I thought.
Yeah. Otherwise, so that's all the shows. And for movies, funny enough, there's basically one movie confirmed, and in a minute you'll see 3 other things. And this is I'm super excited for. Rogue One. This also has a date, December 22nd, 2023.
That's Rogue Squadron. You said Rogue One.
Rogue One Part 2.
I'd buy that poster right now.
Rogue 2.
I'm a fan of that right there.
It's good. So then it's being directed by Patty Jenkins, so obviously Wonder Woman fame, Hurt Locker. And
it's Blue Leader. Gold Leader.
It's being positioned as a World War II dogfighting style film featuring an original plot centered around a new group of pilots bridging eras of Star Wars. And she said that they're going to be taking influences across the different Rogue Squadron books, games, as well as the other different squadrons, and kind of bringing a new life to it, breathing new life into this favorite kind of series. Which, yeah, this is the only movie. This is the only movie they have confirmed,
which is weird because I think this is actually better suited as a show because there's so much.
That's funny. That's what I was gonna say. The first thing, this is a better show than a movie.
It seems like this should be the show, and some of the other ones, like the Kenobi one, should maybe be the movie. To me, this could be, like you were saying, what your favorite movie was that people weren't expecting it to be, and ended up being your favorite movie the last. I feel like this could be that. It could be out of nowhere, just a good old-fashioned action movie. You don't need any shenanigans, just dogfighting. Of course, you're going to have a few corny, lovable characters that hopefully die at the end like they're supposed to. But other than that, I mean, this could be that movie that they could do it. Like, it could be a good movie if they do it right. They make it like an old World War II movie or something.
I hope they also get the angle from the TIE fighters and, like the comic series TIE fighter, it comes in from the baddies side. So you get to kind of help develop those pilots as well.
That's the thing, like especially with the game they had recently, Rogue Squadrons. I hope that they focused on the Imperials as well. I hope there is that kind of mix. Do you ever watch there's this one movie, World War II movie? Is it Midway? It's one of the ones where it's in the Pacific, where it jumps between. You see, what's that movie called?
Tora. You talking about like a really old one?
Tora. That's it.
Yeah.
Where you see the Japanese end of it too. I think it's interesting.
My grandfather loved that freaking movie.
I love it. So I would be cool if they do a mix of you can see both. Yeah, like I said, both ends of that conflict.
And that's something that I think could make it a good movie because that's something that Star Wars has shied away from, and I think Disney actually probably shies away from because you don't really want to make them. You don't want to, you killed thousands of them on the Death Star twice. And you really want to show them as humans, but I think it could be very interesting to show because when they do it a lot in the video games and the comic books, you see that they're not like, I can't say the word, but World War II bad guys, we'll call it, because I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. They're not that level.
Some original stormtroopers, though.
So some of them just are like, hey, you know what I mean? It was the Republic. My family's been part of the Republic for hundreds of years, and they transitioned to this, and these other people just break away like terrorists. A lot of them believe that they're doing the right thing, and so I think it can be extremely interesting to show. A lot like toward the Japanese, they think they're doing the right thing. They have no other choice but to do what they're doing. So I think it could be.
Anyone we know going to be in it? You think?
Oh, I don't think.
I think there'll probably be a lot of unknowns, but I feel like there will be a couple, at least the squadron leader. So people obviously
movie. Good job, Colonel.
Which I wonder if they put Wedge in there, they'll have to obviously do a young actor.
Well, when's it set? You said
so that's the thing. They don't have a set timeline, but they did say it's bridging eras of Star Wars. So my assumption is it's going to be probably it's probably going to show the rebellion, like the tail end of it, and going into the New Republic, like the early stages of the New Republic.
So it could, if it has anyone that we know, it could have
Hera. Hera would make the most sense. Yeah. That would be a good thing to have her show up as the
and Poe's parents.
Yeah, so that would be Poe's parents, Hera. that would probably make the most sense. If you're gonna have any big characters show up, that would probably be
Like
it.
that Shattered Empire
Yeah,
era.
at like Return of the Jedi style.
After
It'd be really
that,
cool. Actually, it'd be really cool if the open to the movie is just the Battle of Endor.
I
end
think
of it.
that Star Wars has already jumped the shark when it comes to Hera. I love the character.
The thing is with her, she's integral because she is the general of all the starfighters. At that
She
point.
is. And she has had her finger now in every single thing, starting from the Rebels on. Every book, she is the spy master. She is the one that hunted down that Jedi. Do you know what I mean? Like she's introduced every single, got other worlds involved. She got all the ships there. She is so freaking famous that
She's got revenge in her blood, man.
she needs.
Yes.
Yeah. As long as to me they could solve that problem that I have with her by simply saying that she is somebody who does not want to be named. You know what I mean? Like she always wants to stay in the background. She doesn't like, she lets the politicians do her thing. She's like Clint Eastwood style. Like I let the politicians do my thing. I'm over here putting in work while you guys are arguing about where to go. Then that makes sense. But like they have her as the leader of a lot of crap. So I don't know. She's pretty famous.
Got her right here
Overwatching you.
over my shoulder.
Oh, that's random.
That is random.
All right. So there that is. I do
Rogue.
I don't know.
And if this does good, they're probably just gonna make a bunch of Rogue movies. Rogue 2.
And that's fine as long as it's just good old fashioned, because Disney could do that with Star Wars. You know what I mean? You can do that. You can have sci-fi corny stuff. You can have old mill. You can do it, but it has to be. You gotta do it right. Obviously,
I'm surprised no books have spiked. Remember that one I mentioned, the first mention of Rogue Squadron?
Yeah, in the original. Well, that.
All right. Now, what book were you saying? Sorry, we got to give them a heads up on that.
Yeah, Star Wars, the Aaron Run, right? No, it was Gillen by that stage, but number 52 is where they said that. But
First appearance of Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron in canon. But there's a lot of titles in the old Legends books.
It's weird because I don't remember saying sci-fi porn, but okay, I don't remember that part coming out, Chris. Corny. Oh, I see. This is the one thing that I think it doesn't get mentioned enough when I watch a lot of rumors or what ifs.
What? Yeah, her son. Also,
Her
I have
son.
so many problems with his hair being green out of birth. That is the weirdest thing.
So interesting. And then what they're gonna do with him? Like you can't have the most famous mom in the history of any kind of rebellion, and then you're just the dude.
But the son of a Jedi. The son of a Jedi and this and of the general of the Alliance, yeah.
I mean, obviously they might have to deal with that time period, but I mean, I feel like he can't just go be a farmer on Tatooine or something. Like he's gonna have to be something.
He was playing in an airlock by accident, got ejected. Yeah. So that's the only confirmed movie. Now there is technically this has messed me up. Is the next slide? There's one more thing to do with film, which is so they have. So weirdly enough, so they have. So these are all. There's no details at all. All it is that it's an untitled film by Taika Waititi. He's doing a Star Wars movie, directing and all that. Kevin Feige is apparently directing a Star Wars movie, which I don't know if that's his first directing debut. And then apparently Rian Johnson is still having a trilogy.
Say something. Let me tell you something about Rian Johnson. What? He's go away for life.
Yes.
And never
So that's the thing. So the funny thing was the what are the guy's name? David and Dan from Game of Thrones had a trilogy they were going to be doing, and then they canceled them. But
hold on.
Johnson still has one. Now,
how dare you, sir? How dare you, sir? I had to come off the sharing the screen just to tell you how dare you, sir. Okay, sorry. Continue.
So, but now quickly, I will say before we jump into Rian Johnson stuff,
be very careful. Be very careful what the next thing you're coming out of your mouth is.
I really liked Knives Out. I thought that was a great movie. Yeah, Looper was fine. and that's it. That's all I know. Luke was fine at the
Okay,
most.
let me tell you something. Then he can go do those movies. He needs to keep his ass out of
That's the
Star
thing,
Wars.
and he's doing Knives Out too, which is cool, awesome. He could do that. But
He's a creative guy.
A trilogy, like not even a single movie. Like, okay, we give him one movie, okay, sure, but like you're a trilogy.
That's too much build up for crap.
Zero taste. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. He's a creative guy, and because he's a creative guy, and he really does think very highly of himself. That's why he couldn't just take the source material that was given to him. The movie Behind Me was a decent start. It obviously just rebooted and almost went word for word from the original. And then he pissed on it and decided, no, I'm going to show that I can make a movie that has nothing to do with anything. I'm going to create my own lore. I'm going to create everything. And he totally destroyed it for years. He needed to keep his ass away from Star Wars. He can do Droid. He can do the droids. He can do that cartoon. He can show run that one.
So yeah. Now, other than, so, I know.
How dare you put Ryan Johnson on this show? Like, how dare you, sir?
I had to. Well, I was like, hey, if you go back to the image, that's why Kevin Feige's face is like straight across.
Whatever. I'm not going to go back to the image. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go past it before we share again.
So, basically, so ignoring that, what do you guys? So Taika Waititi obviously directed that one episode of Mandalorian or two.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Ragnarok he did. So I'm curious what his movie would be. It could be anything. Probably like a bounty hunting, I would assume. But Kevin Feige interests me. That I think that would be his only directing.
Let me tell you something.
He needs 10 years.
When you make your mother company $18 billion and you just walk in the room and say, I want to direct, they go, okay, like whatever you want to do, buddy. Like that's what that was right there. Like he walked in, he put the wallet on the counter and said, hey guys, I think I want to direct. And I'm like, yeah, go for it, dude. Like, because
it's going to be a team. It's going to be some kind of Avengers Star Wars team. Captain Marvel may even fly up and say that she's been somewhere doing something.
See, I think that Disney, and I think they can do it right. It sounds weird because Star Wars is like the biggest franchise of all time, but because of the crap decisions they made, including the fat face you just put on over there, they have made decisions that have kind of made it take a back seat to the Avengers, honestly. So I think because also you're dealing with superheroes, I think the Avengers could be the big crazy budgets, the big crazy scenes, the big crazy stuff. And then Star Wars, you can do stuff like have a World War II movie, a spy movie, you know what I mean? Like you can do those kind of things with Star Wars. So that's why it's important. I think the directing is more important and the writing is more important. What's up, Kingdom Comics? And I think it is. And that's why Ryan Johnson can go make a freaking Green Lantern movie and stay the hell away from Star Wars, please.
Don't make him do that.
He can take that other Canadian idiot that you like so much and have Green Lanterns 2, and those two can go have man love together.
So yeah,
maybe some Wookiee movie.
A lumpy movie.
Give Ryan Johnson the holiday special, the movie. Give him that. That's what he deserves.
Holidays too.
Jar Jar Rose, Ryan Emmer. Okay.
Oh my God. That sounds awful.
So I'll take a full movie of Jar Jar in his perspective. Like he's just holding like a GoPro and just going around in the day over anything that Ryan Johnson makes from this point forward. I'm going to tell you right now.
Swallow it.
and if he swallows it, so be it. Like, he'll like, no! And he'll spit it back out again. I'll take that over Ryan Johnson. And I know that Ryan Johnson's richer and he's way more talented than I ever be. I understand. But for somebody, he makes more money than you. Absolutely. But as a fan, I do not want to see anymore. I've had enough.
Oh, man. Now. So
here we go.
We got 3 technically. So there was a 4th game I left out, but there's no information on it. So anyways, the 3 games here are the sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. You skipped it immediately. So this game, all we know is it's still in development currently. No stage on where it is alpha, beta, whatnot, nor a setting, any details. It's still made by Respawn. They're continuing the series.
It should, because they did a fantastic job. This is an amazing game.
Absolutely stellar. Probably the best Star Wars game in a long time. No new games at all.
I will tell you right now, and I maybe I'm corny, but I, for the first time in my life, playing a video game, literally was screaming out loud whenever well, the game's been out for a long time, so
Yeah.
to me, but Darth Vader makes an appearance, and when he starts chasing you, I literally didn't think I was gonna be able to make it out, and I was screaming. My son was screaming because he was watching me do it, and we were screaming, trying to find a way to get away from him. And that tells you enough right there, where I was literally like screaming out loud, trying to find a way to run from him because he was obviously going to murder me in 2 seconds.
It's fun. You have like all these different bosses come up. They have life bars. Vader shows up. No life bar shows up above his head, and then it starts, and you're like, okay. You're like, better start running.
All right.
I haven't played it. I'm gonna have to play.
You need to play it. It's awesome. It is really, really good.
Can you get it?
Yeah.
PS2? No, PS3.
PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, it's worth buying a PlayStation.
Yeah. So this game here is interesting. This has this game is called Star Wars Hunters.
Is it made in the 80s? What is this?
So it's made by a company called Zynga. They do mobile games, like Farmville. But the reason why this game is interesting is the only other game they brought up before, but it's called the details are scarce, but it's an arena-focused game with no established Star Wars characters in it, but using the locations. It's supposed to be a mobile game, but also on Nintendo Switch.
Oh, okay.
So apparently it's going to be their version of a battle royale. Almost.
Anything that's on a mobile game that Star Wars has anything to do with, it's nothing but a money grab, and they just rob people of their money. So pass. Although I will be contacting my lawyers about their use of Star Wars and Hunters at the same time, because I believe that has already been taken. But
we should take that on for ourselves.
Yeah, because Disney will allow that. They will absolutely not come after me for that one.
And then so this
nice.
So this game, 1 second, is what this game is.
What am I doing?
What's happening?
I'm letting the cat go through. So
the cat.
So before we because this game actually has more details than all the movies and shows.
I'm confused because they already have a Star Wars.
So this is what's cool about this. Maybe before that, so there is one other game. It's an open world Star Wars game made by Ubisoft. It's the same company that's doing the Avatar game that just got announced. And the reason why is because the Avatar game was their proof of concept that they could do a Star Wars game. And so that's all that is for that. But this one here is the Lego Star Wars. Why this is interesting is because they had Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, which carried 1.6,
which is really good, by the way.
Perfect game, awesome. No flaws. And then they did a Lego Star Wars 3, which was the Clone Wars. It covered some Clone Wars episodes and some other stuff. It was a fine enough game, and that was it. And then they had Episode 7, which had a little bit of open world, but it was only one movie. They couldn't do much with it. Now, this game is covering episodes 1 through 9. It is actually the largest Star Wars. It's the largest Lego game and largest Star Wars game to date. It's supposed to be. It's been delayed multiple times, and
there you go. It's Ubisoft. You're gonna get some issues.
No, this is the Lego game. So this is the Lego game now.
Still though.
This isn't Ubisoft. This isn't Ubisoft. No.
I thought you said it was Ubisoft.
No, that was the other game.
Oh, okay. This is Disney and TT Games.
TT and Warner Brothers, yes. So, anyways, this game's been delayed multiple times.
I thought Ubisoft took us over, and I was like, you're going to have a lot of issues if Ubisoft took us over.
Yes, this game has been delayed multiple times. The current date is holiday 2021.
They had to erase a character, right? Probably.
Basically. It's releasing on all 8th and 9th generation consoles and PC. Now, this is what's interesting about the game. It's featuring 23 open world planets and moons. Wow. So these are open world areas, hub areas where you can go explore, do different quests. They have quests, which is interesting. They built an entire new game engine from scratch for this game alone. Different than all the other games they've done. It features 800 unique characters. Over 300 of them are playable and unlockable, though, which is still bigger than most of the other Lego games.
They've always had a large amount of characters.
But this one's crazy. This is crazy big. But then they're doing 45 levels. That's covering episodes 1 through 9. and they've already confirmed that later on down the road they will do DLC, which will cover Solo, Rogue One, Mandalorian, Bad Batch, and all the other shows that they will come out with. But
I mean, it's Star Wars video games. They're gonna get my money, other than the mobile crap. So
the Lego games have always been really good, and Lego Star Wars specifically has been like the best of the Lego games. And this
Indiana Jones is good too. If you haven't played that,
I love the Indiana Jones one. It was so good. This game is probably, if it's done right, because they kept delaying it to perfect it. They said they didn't want any bugs or anything coming out with this game, and probably to remove like one Lego character from Mandalorian, like Shun said. Otherwise, I think it's going to be probably one of the best Star Wars games in a long time.
What I've always wondered is why, if they can make it so good, why Lego though? Like, why does it have? Why can't it look like?
It's the Lego company owns.
That if you ever played it, you would understand, because the Lego games, we'll say that most of them, a lot of times they're not canon. They have their own funniness. It's their own comedic. Like you'll knock over a building, and a stormtrooper will be in like heart shaped boxers running around. Like it's
there's a part
it's like its own thing.
There's a classic one in the original trilogy game where you're in the Death Star and you go up one of the elevators and you end up in the bathroom, the sauna area, and there's a bunch of stormtroopers sitting in a pool. They just have the helmets on and they have and they're just sitting there. So they're amazing games, and I think this would be a very, very great game, and that's why I left it to last, because it has the most information, and it's probably a great highlight for everything.
I heard what you were saying with that, but I would say this: Lego games to me have always been fun, and it is a game that you can play, and then you can put it down and play it, and 2 days later or a week later, you can kind of come and go with it. You don't have to, like, to me, like even
spend 2 days on one.
Yeah. Even the Jedi Fallen Order, those kind of games, I have a really bad habit with, I guess, ADD and lack of memory. If I don't play a game for a long time, I kind of forget where I was, and it bothers me. And so it's like I feel like I have to sit down and play them until I beat them. And Lego is a game that you can be playing that for years, and it won't get old.
Well, what's funny too is this is 45 levels. If you break it down, it's only 5 levels per movie. So it's a little shorter than other ones, but it's interesting how they're going to reinvent. They also changed how they're doing lightsaber combat, ships, and everything different, much more like engaging than just pressing X. So,
yes, on Red Dead Redemption 2, if Colonel and David are in here, I've restarted that game 7 times because I'll get like 800 hours into it, forget where I was, and get frustrated to start all over again. This, I don't want to hear any more crap come out of anybody's mouth about Knights of the Republic until I see the freaking game on. You can download it now on Xbox or whatever computer. I don't want to hear any more. My heart's been broken too many times, and I'm bitter about this. I don't want to hear any more about Knights of the Republic. Anything to do with a video game.
So the next game we're talking about. No, yeah. There's lots of games that are rumored to be coming out. I left all those out because there's no actual confirmation on anything, other than an insider in the industry saying something, and that's it. But otherwise, that's every TV, movie, and game project in the works confirmed. Yeah. So of all of that, what do you? It's obvious I can guess Kenobi's most anticipated, but
and scariest ass perk.
Scariest anticipated. Otherwise, which of the things do you think you're most looking forward to?
The one with Tick, Rika, and Omega.
Oh
no.
Season 2 of Bad.
Book of Boba Fett. Definitely for me, Book of Boba Fett and Rogue Squadron for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka, probably top 3.
I would think are you worried about, like I am with Kenobi, because I know that Boba is your man. So are you worried if they blow it? I mean, at least you should be a little bit less worried because you saw them use him for half of a season. They did a good job.
And it's the same director who did those episodes coming back. So he's already worked with them.
Kenobi's I'm most excited for, but the most concerned about probably. But yeah,
Acolyte I'm most curious about.
Yeah. And then I really would like, you know what I would like Star Wars to do is the DC is failing anyway. They're a shipwreck. They're burning. The rats have already left the building, and everybody just waiting for it to sink, and it just won't sink. You know, I remember there used to be this
WWE. The one end's going up.
Yeah,
listing.
I remember way back ago wrestling talk. You know, Chris loves wrestling talk, and I remember whenever like Bret Hart had left and his brother was still Owen Hart, and they said, you're like that little turd in the toilet bowl that just won't flush no matter how much you flush. That's DC right now. No matter what they do, they just can't get it to go down the drain. So what Star Wars should do is rush in there, buy up all of the DC's animation staff if they do that, and then bring them over to Star Wars and start making them pump out, because the DC does one thing right, it's their animation, and I think Star Wars could really have a gold mine if they start pumping out animation like that.
Why
do you talk?
I think Boba probably ends up in Carbonite.
Boba ends up in Carbonite. Maybe that chick pushes him into Carbonite and she takes over the stuff.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Probably Rogue Squadron's definitely. I'm really excited to see what they've done with that movie. Otherwise, obviously, Book of Boba is very, very interesting. But Andor, the more I think about Andor and the possibilities with it, I feel that's pretty cool. Obviously, it's only because we know all the details, like what the theme of the show is and what writing staff's on there. But at the moment, yeah, that's probably Book of Boba, Andor, and Rogue Squadron. I don't know if I'm less excited for Droid Story or Rangers of the New Republic. I don't know which of the two I'm least excited for.
Ricardo, I'm going to put you on a freaking timeout if you keep giving me information. Well, I don't want to hear any more information about Knights of the Republic until such time there's a playable demo, and even then I don't want to hear about it, because then it's still going to be 3 more years delayed. That game is supposed to be made since like 2001 or something. That stupid game is supposed to be made.
He's laughing.
Chris is already on. He's already on timeout. Ahsoka's the only thing that matters. Kenobi will make us feel good, and the rest will be good. That's a bold statement, sir. But all right, so this was fun. I hope you guys had some idea. Maybe you're looking forward to. I tried to be as positive as possible. I only burned a few Rian Johnson bridges. Other than that, I think we'll try to be as positive as possible. So that's it. You guys excited? Overall, are you excited, or are you worried that they're going to burn the farm and salt the fields here?
I'm excited. We've had only 2 shows. One was really good. The other one so far is only halfway in and is kind of all over the place. So I'm excited to see how the other live action shows do.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see new characters. But of the old characters, I'd like Cad Bane in real live action. Hero, of course.
That could be so cool or so bad, because he's so blue and so weird looking that I don't know. It could be. It's kind of like my concern about Thrawn. Like the first time we see him, is it going to be corny or is it going to be good? But we need all these characters to be good, because we need this wall behind Ka-Chung here. We need this filled out. There's still some yellow or gold or whatever it is. I can still see spots that have not been.
I can see the ceiling still.
Yeah, we gotta get this going.
It's kind of an angled ceiling there. Goes over.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. We had fun. If anybody is watching this on the rewind, or if you want to throw what you want us to talk about next, if there's a character or even if it's just something you want to know more about Star Wars, let us know. And until then, we will see you guys next week. Say bye-bye.